Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching. I'm feeling very patriotic this week, and I want to thank you for watching and subscribing. It is appreciated. Why am I patriotic when the government so clearly hates me, and the government so clearly hates the majority of the United Kingdom? Because I believe in our country. I know that may sound daft, that may sound lame, but I really do believe in the fundamentals of the United Kingdom and England. I really do. I have no faith in Parliament, and I have no faith in the governments. They are the apples as I see them. You may not agree, that's just my view. And I've been thinking about a bit of a mind experiment. People may like this, people may not. I'm going to lay out a few bits and pieces. The first thing I want to say is, the Crown and Parliament are sovereign. You've heard me say this before, and I'll continue to say it because the letter of the law, and it is true. Parliament has no power without the King, and the King has no power without Parliament. Parliament ultimately is elected by the people, so sovereignty in England and the broader United Kingdom is meant to be the will of the people. The 650 MPs are meant to represent their constituents. They're meant to make present all of their concerns all of the time. If your MP is not voting or telling their government, or the opposition MPs aren't telling the government to remove all illegal migrants, we're not voting to continue this, they are not making present your concerns. The majority of the population do not agree with mass migration, both legal or illegal. They are meant to be making presence and airing the grievances of their constituents. No mincing words, no derogatory comments are needed. You can just be very specific about what you want. Illegals out, no hotels, no welfare from the British state, and overstayers, and legal migration needs to come down, and remigration needs to be on the table. It's as simple as that. These are my opinions, these are my views. When we move to what I wanted to bring up now, which is the representative democracy is not working, it's not worked for some time. Representative democracy was always a compromise. It was a compromise between the people and the state, because when it was envisioned, we had no internet. Travel was long and expensive, and it made sense to take representatives down to London to air your grievances. That made sense because we didn't have the internet, and you needed a representative, your proxy, as it were, to make present your concerns to the power brokers in the halls of power. Direct democracy cuts out the middleman. Imagine every single home, mobile device, or people who haven't got either of those can do online voting, and they can do it publicly in libraries. Any major issues, anything that would be in an election manifesto would be put directly out to the people, and you vote on your computer at home or through your phone. Harsh penalties for people that don't comply with the set principles of voting from home or remote voting, to the tower mentality. It would work much better. Parliament is all about parliaments. People who get elected into Parliament are not representing their constituents, and if you had a direct democracy with the King ruling by edict based on the will of the people, what's wrong with that? People would say, well, look at the incumbent, look at Charles, he's hardly an example, we can't trust him. In this mind experiment, you're sort of forgetting the major point. He's only acting on what the voters want. So you may not like a decision the country has taken, but the King would effectively be powerless. They would be implementing the will of the people, which is what Parliament is meant to do but doesn't do. All they do is delay, and keep everything the same. They don't actually put in any policies that people actually voted for. They never have done. It would, the internet would allow real-time democracy instead of endless, pointless debates. Parliaments are all about the self-interest. The executive will provide unity and decisiveness through the king ruling directly with the will of the people. Centralised leadership can be effective. It wouldn't be a monarchy of yesteryear. It wouldn't be an absolute monarchy in that sense, because the king would be doing what the people want. Not like Henry VIII or a Tudor monarch who are ruling on, but let's be honest, what the penis wants. It wouldn't be like that, because they'd be working with the people directly. Parliament would still be there, but it would be in the position that the monarchy currently actually occupies, which is to be an advisory body. You wouldn't need to elect representatives anymore, because you do all your voting online and you do it directly to the monarch. What you'd get into Parliament is you'd get very much basically like the House of Lords, but people wouldn't be appointed. You'd have knights or dames or OBEs or MB, people of knowledge or experience in their particular field, would be brought in on a piecemeal basis to give their opinion. And it would be one like jury duty, where you actually don't really have an option whether you do it or not. If you're in the country, you do it. It's as simple as that. It'd be more democratic and more accountable, because you actually are getting what you vote for, and I think it'd be very, very effective. What I'm actually saying is, and I want to be very clear with this, alright? I'm not saying let's have a revolution. Governments, if you're watching this, I am not calling for a revolution. It's pathetic I have to put a disclaimer like this on a video like this when it's merely a mind or a thought experiment. Think about it. We could even bring back the Knights Templar. God, I miss the Crusades. I miss the Crusades. Sometimes I think like I was born in the wrong century, and that's what my biggest problem is. I was born 100 years ago. Yeah, I wouldn't have had the internet. I wouldn't be able to talk to all you fine people on my channel through the internet. We would be able to have a house that we could afford. You could go out and make an on-stage living. You can actually work the land in the country that you live in. You probably have a greater sense of cohesiveness and community with everybody in the country. You'd still have the empire. Not that the working people, people of my class, would have got much benefit from empire, because the elites ran the empire, not the working people. Always remember that. Never feel guilty for empire, because it's not something that the vast majority of the country had any say in. I think a lot of people in the modern age don't engage with democracy because they never get literally anything that they vote for. Anyway, I don't want to end on a sour note, so I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching as always. Eternally grateful. Consider liking and subscribing. Let me know if you think direct democracy and cutting out the middleman, being Parliament, would be preferable. What does Parliament actually do? Talks, and all the MPs, all they do is line their own pockets. That's literally all they do. And most of them are low IQ individuals. Let's be honest about that. Thank you for your time.